The movie starts with a plane flying over the sea at night. Inside the plane, there's a girl with a machine gun. Suddenly, a storm hits, and the plane loses control. Despite the pilot's efforts, it crashes into the sea. Later, we meet Jared, a diving instructor who teaches people how to scuba dive. After an argument with his boss, Jared quits his job. Meanwhile, Sam, Jared's girlfriend, is working as a tour guide, talking to tourists about sharks. When she returns, she finds Jared working on his old, broken boat. Jared tells her he left his job, and mentions a friend who found a valuable cross in the sea and became rich. Jared dreams of finding treasure so they can live a comfortable life without working for others. As they try to start the boat, it breaks down, trapping Jared's foot. Sam helps free him, and they share a happy moment together. Then Bats, a man with a large boat, arrives. Bats once found treasure and now searches the sea for valuable items. He offers to team up with Jared, but Jared refuses, wanting to find treasure on his own. Jared and Sam drive to pick up Jared's childhood friend Bryce and his girlfriend Amanda, who are visiting for the summer. Bryce takes them to a beach house, a reward for saving someone from a money laundering charge. They head out to sea on a personal boat Bryce borrowed for treasure hunting. While diving, Jared loses his watch, a gift from Sam. He dives back to retrieve it and discovers a valuable Belize stone. Excited, he tells Bryce and Amanda about a lost ship rumored to be filled with treasures. They dive again, hoping to find more. Bryce hesitates because of a nearby shark, but Sam assures him it's not dangerous. During their dive, Jared finds an old knife in a sunken plane, the same one from the movie's opening scene. Inside, they discover drug packets. Bryce is thrilled, seeing dollar signs, but Sam warns them about the legal risks. Despite Bryce's excitement, Jared throws the drugs back into the water. Bryce asks if there might be more treasure. Jared explains that many ships have sunk in storms over the years, leaving treasures behind. However, they need to file a claim to legally keep any treasure they find. Jared cautions that if the authorities discover the crashed plane, it will become a crime scene, blocking their access. Jared and the group decide to search for the ship and claim the treasure before reporting the drug plane. Sam is hesitant, knowing they need expensive equipment, but Bryce offers to fund the mission. The group agrees to keep it secret until they find the treasure. Jared and Bryce go to a man to rent a boat and equipment. The man agrees but asks for $30,000, which Bryce doesn't have. Bryce tells Jared he was counting on money from a client who sent him to the Bahamas, but the client refused to pay. Angry, Jared realizes their plan to find treasure is at risk. Bryce uses his remaining funds to buy some equipment, and they return to the area where they found valuable items before. They start searching and find part of a ship's chain, but it's broken, leaving the rest of the ship elusive. Meanwhile, Amanda secretly returns to the sunken plane, hoping to find more drug packets. Her oxygen tank gets snagged and breaks, leaving her in danger. Jared, searching nearby, asks Bryce about Amanda. When Bryce realizes she's missing, Jared grabs an oxygen tank and heads back to the plane, finding Amanda in a part of the plane not completely submerged. Amanda lies, saying she thought Jared was in the plane, but Jared doesn't believe her. Back at the beach house, Jared cleans some items they found, including an old gun with the word Tinus engraved on it. Amanda, familiar with Roman Catholic teachings, recognizes it as Latin. Jared discovers that the ship they are searching for is not Roman, but American, connected to an event in 1865 when John Wilkes Booth assassinated Abraham Lincoln. They find a silver horn with a map of the Bahamas, leading them to believe the ship, called the Zephyr, was looted by a pirate named Tillman Thomas. The pirate fell in love with a trader's daughter and sank the ship to avoid capture. Jared tells Bryce that the treasure, worth $10 million in 1861, would be worth a fortune today. Excited, they set out to find the Zephyr the next day, leaving Amanda on the boat to keep watch. They discover a large golden gun under the sea, but Amanda, alone on the boat, records the location's coordinates. A police boat arrives, but Amanda distracts them by appearing topless, preventing them from noticing the others underwater. Jared, Sam, and Bryce face an oxygen shortage and rush back to the boat, narrowly avoiding danger. One of the police officers, Roy, is a friend of Jared and Sam, and they chat briefly before leaving. Celebrating their discovery, they head to a nightclub. Bryce argues with Jared about splitting the treasure, but Jared insists on including Amanda. Later, Bryce becomes jealous when he sees Amanda dancing with Onyx Primo, leading to a fight that Jared breaks up. The next day, two men board their boat, leading to a confrontation. Jared and Bryce overpower them, but Jared finds a cap identifying them as Bats' men. Jared confronts Bats, who denies involvement, but Jared remains suspicious. Bryce suggests selling the drugs from the sunken plane to buy a better boat and equipment, arguing they only need to do it once to secure their future. Jared refuses, but Bryce and Amanda secretly retrieve the drug packets that night. Bryce dives into the plane and returns with several packets, planning to sell them without Jared's knowledge. The next day, Amanda and Bryce meet with Primo, the nightclub owner, which leads to a heated argument. Meanwhile, Jared is trying to fix his leaky boat when he gets a call from Bryce, asking him to meet at a certain location. When Jared arrives, he finds Bryce, Amanda, Primo, and Primo's boss, Revis, waiting for him. Jared notices that someone has a packet of drugs, which Bryce took from the sunken plane, and realizes they are in deep trouble. Bryce had hoped to trade the drugs for a big boat and expensive equipment, but it turns out the drugs belong to Revis. Furious, Revis demands all his drugs back, threatening to kill everyone if they don't comply. Jared insists they only have the one packet, but Revis doesn't believe him. He hands Jared a gun and tells him there are 800 kilos of cocaine on the plane, and he wants it all back in 12 hours. Jared explains they need $30,000 for equipment and a boat to retrieve it. Revis orders Primo to give Jared the money and warns him that if he doesn't get his drugs back, he will harm Jared's girlfriend, Sam. A man working for Revis takes Jared, Bryce, and Amanda to the sea. Jared and Bryce argue, with Jared furious at Bryce for putting everyone in danger. Jared warns that if anything happens to Sam, he will hold Bryce responsible. They hire a large boat and equipment to retrieve the cocaine from the plane, but Sam refuses to join them. She tells Jared she never wanted treasure and is tired of the trouble it brings. She decides to leave Jared, not wanting to be part of his dangerous plans. Heartbroken but determined, Jared returns to the boat. He uses a powerful blower to clear the sea floor, revealing an ancient ship. Excited, he discovers the ship's name, Zephyr, confirming it's the treasure ship he read about in the book. Despite the discovery, Jared knows he must first return the cocaine to Revis. With only 12 hours to do so, he dives to the plane, fills bags with the drug packets, and prepares to haul them up to the surface. Jared returned to the boat to find Amanda hanging bags of cocaine on the boat's rope. Suddenly, a large shark attacked her. Jared quickly pulled the lever to raise the rope and haul up the cocaine, but he heard Amanda's screams over the boat's mic. He was about to jump into the water when he saw Bryce bringing Amanda to the surface. As they climbed onto the boat, they saw that Amanda's leg had been bitten off by the shark. Jared insisted they leave immediately, so they dropped the cocaine back into the water and sped away. Bryce and Jared rushed Amanda to the hospital, but she died shortly after they arrived. The police questioned Bryce about her death. When Sam learned of what happened, she came to the hospital to see Jared. Jared apologized to her, and Sam blamed Bryce for getting everyone into trouble and causing Amanda's death. Bryce, however, insisted they should focus on claiming the treasure before someone else did. Jared called Primo to explain that he hadn't retrieved the cocaine yet. As Primo drove up, Jared attempted to escape but crashed into another car. The car's owner confronted Jared, but he managed to evade Primo by reversing his car, causing Primo to crash as well. After getting away, Jared asked Bryce to take Sam home, not wanting her to be in danger. Bryce drove off with Sam, but when he asked her for directions, she tricked him by stopping the car and going to her friend Roy, who was a police officer. Seeing Sam with Roy, Bryce fled. Jared then took Primo to a secret location where he had hidden valuables like a gold knife. He offered these treasures to Primo, hoping Primo would leave his boss and support him instead. Impressed, Primo agreed. Meanwhile, Sam told Roy the entire story. Roy suspected higher authorities might be involved, so he advised caution. Primo brought Jared to Revis's boat, but it was deserted and in disarray. Suddenly, Primo was shot from behind and killed. Jared, realizing something was wrong, went inside the boat and found Revis's body. Bats appeared and revealed that Revis had been his business partner. Bats demanded to know where the cocaine was, and Jared understood that Bats would kill him once he had the location. Bats and his men searched for Jared in the sea but couldn't find him because Jared was clinging to their boat. Bats called his men back to the big boat. Meanwhile, Roy brought Sam to Bats, revealing he was working with Bats. Bats planned to use Sam to lure Jared. After Bryce reached the beach house, Jared arrived and asked about Sam. He called Sam from Bryce's phone, but Bats answered. Jared offered to give Bats the location of the cocaine in exchange for 50% of it, hoping to bargain for Sam's safety. Bats agreed to meet Jared. Roy, having delivered Sam to Bats, urged Bats to release her, but Bats shot Roy in anger. Jared and Bryce sought help from their friend Danny. Jared then went to Bats' boat, where he saw Sam tied up and Roy's lifeless body nearby. Bats insisted on using Sam as leverage and demanded Jared lead him to the cocaine. Jared proposed another deal. He would reveal the location of the Zephyr ship if Bats let Sam go. Bats, skeptical of the Zephyr's existence, took Jared to the plane's location instead. At the site, some cocaine packets were floating in the water. When one of Bats' men retrieved a packet, it was empty. Jared explained that the washed-up cocaine was Bat's 50% and he planned to destroy the rest. With that, Jared dove into the water. Bats ordered his men to follow Jared in diving suits to protect the remaining cocaine. Meanwhile, Sam, who was tied to Roy's body, freed herself by cutting Roy's hand with a knife. She then sabotaged the boat's pressure pipe, causing system failures. As the crew member went to check below, Sam locked him in and fled to the boat's upper deck. Bats was also heading towards the plane. When his men entered the plane, they saw what they thought was the pilot's body, but it was Bryce pretending. Bryce attacked, cutting an oxygen hose and killing one of Bat's men. Elsewhere, Danny arrived in his boat to help. A crew member guarding Bat's boat tried to stop Danny but was tricked and injured by Sam. As he pursued her, Jared and Bryce emerged from the plane. One of Bat's men shot an arrow at Jared, but Bryce took the hit. Enraged, Jared fired an arrow back, hitting the assailant in the eye. The scent of blood attracted a shark, which attacked and killed the man. Badly injured, Bryce was told by Jared to return to the boat while Jared stayed behind to confront Bats. Seeing a shark near the boat, Sam had an idea. When one of Bat's men attacked her from behind, she fought back and jumped into the water with him. In the water, she squeezed the man's injured hand, causing blood to flow, which attracted the shark. Sam then swam back to the boat, leaving the man to be attacked by the shark. Meanwhile, Jared entered the plane searching for Bats, who was checking on his remaining cocaine. As Jared approached, Bats attacked him with a knife, but Jared managed to grab his hand, and a fight ensued. During the struggle, Jared broke Bats' oxygen pipe, forcing Bats to retreat to a part of the plane that wasn't completely submerged to catch his breath. Jared used Bats' broken pipe to breathe as well. As Bats prepared to shoot an arrow at Jared, Jared aimed the oxygen cylinder he was using at Bats. Jared struck the cylinder's knob, causing it to open and propel the cylinder towards Bats due to the pressure. Sam jumped into the water to save Jared. 6 weeks later, Bryce and Danny were on a boat when Jared and Sam emerged from the water. Bryce suddenly dove into the sea without a mask. From above the boat, they heard Bryce's joyful screams as he announced he had found the treasure, which meant he was going to be very rich. The story ends with a fact stating that there is an estimated $6 billion worth of treasure still undiscovered in the world's seas.